our topic is Ankylostoma duodenale and Nicketerus americans. My name is Alpa Patel, Microbiology Department. So basically, hookworms. There are two species which infects the man, Nicketerus americans, which is a new world worm, and Ankylostoma duodenale, that is an old world worm, and they both live in the small intestine. Hookworm infects an estimated 1 billion people worldwide, mostly in tropical and subtropical climates. Both are the two hookworms that infects the humans. Ankylostoma duodenale is found in southern Europe, northern Africa, India, China, the Middle East, and the Americas, while Nicketerus americans can be found in the southern US and the Australia. What are the species and the subspecies? In the group 1, which is a true human parasite, it includes both these pathogens, which is Ankylostoma duodenale and Nicketerus americans, while group 2 is animal parasites. So in the animal parasites, you have Ankylostoma brasiliensis that infects dogs and cats, Ankylostoma caninum that infects dogs and cats in tropical areas, Ankylostoma celionicum that infects cats in the Sri Lanka, and Unicanine stenocephala that infects dogs, cats, and foxes. Coming to the two major hookworm species that infects human, they're habitated small intestine in the man, which is jejunum, less often into the duodenum, and rarely in the ileum. What is the morphology? Adults, they look like an odd piece thread and are about 1 centimeter in diameter. They are white and light pinkish when living. Female is slightly longer than male. The male's posterior end is expanded to form a copulatory bursa. Oral cavity provides 4 hook-like teeth on ventral surface and 2 knob-like teeth on the dorsal surface. So what is the difference between the male and the female parasite? First, size. In male, it is 5 to 11 millimeters, while in female, it is 9 to 13 millimeters. Posterior end, so expanded umbrella-like copulatory bursa is there in the male, while in the female, posterior end is tapering. Genital openings, open posterior with cloaca, while in female, junctions of the middle and the posterior third of the body. Coming to the eggs, the picture here is showing how the eggs of the hookworm is looking like. They are oval or elliptical, 60 micrometer in length and 40 micrometer in width. They are colorless, surrounded by a thin transparent hyaline shell. Segmented ovum with 4 blastomeres is been seen. Clear space between segmented ovum and eggshell is seen. Eggs floats in the saturated salt solution. Life cycle. Final host is man. Infective stage is larva 3 or filariform larva. Route of infection is by skin. In the food, blood and tissue fluids. Site of inhabitation is small intestine. Lifespan. For Ankylostoma duodenale it is 15 years, and for Nicketerus americans it is 3 to 7 years. They migrate through blood and through lungs to the skin, cecum, right heart, and finally to the lungs. The picture is showing the life cycle of the hookworm. Here you have an infective stage, which is a filariform larva. It penetrates the skin, goes into the circulation, lungs, trachea, pharynx, and it is being swallowed, and then it goes to the intestine. It attaches into the small intestine. Then there is a form of the adults in the small intestine, and they liberate these eggs into the feces, which is a diagnostic stage. And then they convert into the rhabdiform larva, hatches out, and rhabdiform larva that remains into the soil, occasionally into the old feces. And again it converts into the filariform larva, which is an infective stage. So that's how the life cycle of the hookworm goes on. So life cycle and reproduction. The eggs are passed in the feces and hatch out in the rhabdiform larva in about 48 hours in the feces or in the soil. There are two figures showing the eggs. One is the Ankylostoma duodenale, while the other is the Niceteris americans. Eggs are generally 57 to 76 micrometer by 35 to 47 micrometer and are oval shaped with a thin shell. These are the pictures showing the rhabdiform larva in the wet mound. The life cycle continued then after. So juveniles feeds on the feces for about 3 days, then molt into the second stage of the juveniles. They molt again in 5 to 10 days later into the filariform larva, which is the infective stage, and that can also survive 3 to 4 weeks outside the host. They infect the humans by penetrating the skin and then travel to the heart and lungs, where they penetrate the pharynx and are swallowed. When they reach the small intestine, they attach to the intestinal wall and feed on the blood. So, here they have shown the cutting edge in the Ankylostoma duodenale and Niceteris americans. Worms molt again in 2 more times to reach the maturity. So in the Ankylostoma duodenale, adult male measures 8 to 11 millimeters, while female is 10 to 13 millimeters. While Niceteris americans, adult male measures 7 to 9 millimeters and female measures 9 to 11 millimeters. Adult worms copulates and eggs appears in the feces in about 6 weeks. Females can produce several thousand eggs in one day. Cycle starts over again and adults live 1 to 2 years. The picture is showing the parasites in the intestinal mucosa. Here are the adult worms. The transmission. So filariform juvenile wait in the soil or feces and wave back and forth to increase the chances of finding the host. So filariforms then penetrates the skin, usually hands and the feet, which are exposed to the soil. Children, elderly people and people who works about a contaminated soil are at the higher risk of getting the infection. Now, what are the pathogenic effects of the infection? Asymptomatic until worms have already started multiplying. When once the symptoms start appears, irritation of the skin at the sign of penetration, iron deficiency anemia, abdominal pain, diarrhea, loss of appetite, weight loss, tiredness, difficulty in breathing, cardiomegaly, irregular heartbeats. Extreme cases include stunted growth and mental retardation. Clinical disease is caused by the migrating larva or the adult worm. The pathogenicity of migrating larva, it causes 3 types of lesions: ankylostoma dermatitis or ground itch, creeping eruptions or cutaneous larva migrans, and pulmonary lesions. Ankylostoma dermatitis or ground itch. When larva enters the skin, it causes dermatitis. So, in the clinical features, it shows itching, burning, erythema, edema of the area followed by the papular and vesicular eruptions, more common with the Niceteris americans, and it disappears in 1 to 2 weeks. Cutaneous larva migrans is a parasitic skin infection caused by hookworm larva. Human can be infected by walking barefoot on sandy beaches or soft soil contaminated with the animal feces. It is also known as the creeping eruption, as once infected, the larva migrans under the skin surface and causes itchy red lines or the tracks. Coming to the common causes of it, so Ankylostoma brasiliensis, hookworm of wild and domestic dogs and cats; Ankylostoma caninum, dogs to hookworm; Uncineria stenocephala, dog hookworm. Common in tropical and subtropical countries. All ages and both the sexes are equally affected. Infected animals passes eggs in the soil where the larva hatches out. On contact with human skin, larvae penetrate through hair follicles, cracks, or even through the intact skin. What happens in the animal host? In animal host, larva can penetrate deeper layers of the skin and infection can reach up to blood and lymphatic system. In a human host, larvae are unable to penetrate the basement membrane of the dermis. Commonly affected sites are free spaces between toes, hands, knees and buttocks. At the site of penetration, tingling and prickling sensation will be there. Creepy activity is seen as a snake-like tracks which are raised and flesh color or pink. Biopsy shows larvae with round cells, mainly eosinophil and infiltrates. Disease is mainly self-limiting. Humans are the accidental and dead-end host. Most cases lesions resolve without treatment within 4 to 8 weeks. Drugs which are used are albendazole, mebendazole, ivermectin. Secondary infections requires other antibiotics. In the pulmonary lesions, when the filariform larva breaks through the pulmonary capillaries and enters the alveoli, it causes bronchitis and bronchopneumonia. There is a marked eosinophilia occurs because of the parasitic infection. Coming to the pathogenicity of adult worm, the disease is also known as the hookworm disease. Adult hookworm attaches to the mucosa of the small intestine and suck the blood. On one adult worm of Ankylostomata duodenale, 0.2 ml blood per day, while Niceteris americana can suck 0.03 ml of blood per day. The worms frequently leave one site and attach themselves to other site, leaving behind a small bleeding lesions. Also, secretions of worms contain anticoagulant activity, so bleeding continues. This leads to the microcytic hypochromic or the iron deficiency anemia. So, the clinical pictures will be epigastric pain, dyspepsia, vomiting, diarrhea, reddish or black color stool, pale skin and conjunctiva, dry and lusterless hair, edema of feet and ankle. Coming to the diagnosis, so stool samples will be collected in an open wide mouth container that shows the eggs or the actual worms and correlating them with the clinical signs and symptoms. Laboratory diagnosis, there are direct methods, examination of stool, finding of eggs in the stool, direct microscopy examination. So here, saline preparations of stool or after concentration by flotation study of duodenal contents can be done. The material obtained by the duodenal incubation may be sometimes reveal either eggs or the adult worm. In saline mount, 5 eggs per cover slip and 25 eggs per cover slip is a heavy infection, while 5 eggs per cover slip is a mild infection. Delay in examination more than a day, so larva will be developed and hatched out of the eggs. Indirect method in stool examination, it shows occult blood and charcoal-laden crystal in majority of the cases of the infection. There will be anemia, so microcytic hypochromic anemia will be shown and eosinophilia that indicates the parasitic infection. Also in the blood picture, HB, PCV, MCV, MCHC, all are decreased, that indicating the infection. Now coming to the morphological difference between the two species of the hookworm, that is Ankylostomata duodenale and Niceteris americans. Size, so that will be larger in the Ankylostomata duodenale, while that will be smaller in the Niceteris americans. Shape is a single curve, looks like C in the Ankylostomata duodenale, while Niceteris americans double curves look like S. In the mouth, 2 pairs of ventral teeth are there in Ankylostomata duodenale, while 1 pair of ventral cutting plates will be there in Niceteris americans. Copulatory bursa, circle in shape, so a top view will be there. In a top view, oval in shape. Copulatory spicules, 1 pair with separated endings. In Niceteris americans, 1 pair of which unite to form a terminal hooklet. In the caudal spine, it is present in the Ankylostomata duodenale, while it is absent in Niceteris americans. Vulval position is posto-equilateral, while in Niceteris americans it's a pre-equatorial. Now What are the treatment and the prophylaxis? In the treatment, expulsion of worms by anti-helminthic drugs. So anti-helminthic drugs to be given, and also with the treatment of anemia, which is associated with the infection. In prophylaxis, treatment of carriers and deceased persons simultaneously with the wholesale treatment of the community is to be done. And for the larva, disinfection of the feces and the soil to be done. So they are trying to develop a vaccine. In some countries, infections aren't treated because they are very common and continuous. Lastly, what are the preventive measures we can do for this? So sanitary disposal of the night salt to be done. Individual protection and wearing of the shoes, especially going to the beaches and the soil area. Health education, how the disease is occurring, so that the people are aware to how to protect themselves. Cultivative hygienic habits. Treat the patient and as well as the carriers, and monitor the disposal of human feces. Thank you.